there are various efforts from the government and private sector to help our returning Filipino workers and essential workers. Let's check what the tourism department is doing about this. We now go above and beyond the headlines with Tourism Undersecretary Benito Bengzon. Good evening, Yusek Bengzon. Thank you for taking our call.
Good evening, Pia. It's a pleasure to be back.
Yes. Well, Yusek Bengzon, I remember when you guested on my show about sometime was it January or early Feb? We were talking about losses. At that time, it was the estimate was 20 billion, but now the net report, the Pillar 4, it says it's about 30 billion. Is that correct?
Well, for tourism, we haven't really come up with final figures yet. We're just basing it on the percentage change from the same period last year. And from our initial computations, we've seen approximately 35% drop in the number of foreign visitors to the Philippines. That's for the first 3 months of the year. And basically the same percentage drop in terms of inbound revenue.
All right. I'm sorry. I should have mentioned that figure, 30 billion, came from the survey that NEDA was doing on various businesses, including the tourism sector. But anyway, Yusek Bengzon, I wanted to ask you also about what the tourism department is doing. There are hotels that are offering lodging, free lodging. Is that correct? For returning OFWs who need to be quarantined for 14 days before they get to go home.
What the DOT has done over the last 2 to 3 weeks is to help identify hotels, initially in Metro Manila, but we've since expanded it to regions 3 and 4, to meet the requirements of returning Filipinos, OFWs, both the land-based and the sea-based workers. And as required by the Department of Health, all of them have to undergo 14-day quarantine. So this will require looking for facilities here in Metro Manila and in the outskirts that can house them over that particular period. By and large, the accommodations are paid for by either the manning agencies or the OFWs themselves. We've had cases also wherein some generous hotels have offered their rooms for free to accommodate some of the returning workers.
Can you give us a number, a figure, sir? How many hotels are we talking about? And well, you did say Metro Manila plus was it? Did you? I think you said Calabarzon, no? Mga ilan ito, and like how many rooms are we talking about?
Well, we've identified over 10,000 rooms in and out of Metro Manila, and this covers a wide range of categories from 5-star all the way to the 1-star properties. But I think it's also important to take note that all of the hotels that we've identified and we've recommended have to be checked also by the Department of Health and the Bureau of Quarantine to make sure that they meet certain minimum requirements.
All right. And these 10,000 rooms are already in use, or do you have an idea, like, is there a number to show us what percentage of these rooms are in use right now?
I'm sorry, can you please repeat the question?
Yeah, do we have an idea how many of these 10,000 rooms are already in use, or all of them are?
Most of, I was talking to the Hotel Sales and Marketing Association president, and she was saying that most of the hotels that we've identified have been recording very good occupancy. So that means almost all of the rooms are being used. I think we also have to keep in mind that apart from the rooms that have been allocated to the returning OFWs, we've also had to look for rooms for those working in essential businesses, including the BPOs, the banks, and of course those who are working in hospitals and other medical facilities. So by and large, these are the profile. These are the guests, or the kind of guests that the hotels have been accommodating for the past 3 to 4 weeks.
All right. Yusek Bengzon of the Department of Tourism. Sir, thank you very much for joining us this evening.